Hi guys, today I'm going to be ranting about why I hate Elementor. Now, I hate Elementor because whenever I join up with a person who wants me to do their marketing for them, and they've had a website set up by somebody else, they have used Elementor for this process. Now, there's only one reason that I can think of that anyone would ever use that horrible design platform, and that is that it makes things very difficult, which means that people who are business owners are not going to want to go through all of Elementor's awful, complicated nonsense just to deal with issues. They're absolutely dreadful. I mean, I'll give you an example. It took me hours and hours to mess around with CSS just to make things work a certain way on one of these websites. I just needed to make something look a little bit like the buttons. And the thing is, it didn't accept the CSS code that I put in. I had to mess around with the code and jank it up and make it absolutely screwed up so it didn't even make sense. And wow, it eventually worked. But the fact of the matter is, that would have worked on just about every other blooming platform that I've ever used CSS on. It's like mind-blowing the amount of nonsense that you have to deal with when you're dealing with Elementor. So it is a great tool, and I think the only reason that people are using Elementor at this point is because they want to design sites that look like they're absolutely impossible to build. Now, when you've actually worked with Elementor for a while, you can build a site very quickly with it, right? You know exactly what you're doing, you know where everything is, that's fine. But what I'm saying is from the perspective of a customer, it's not good practice to give them something that they can't make a quick change with themselves. Because I know that as web designers, we want to get money and we need to feed our families and everything like that. The fact of the matter is, even if you set someone up with something like Divi, which is much easier, you know, the building system with Divi is the easiest thing in the world. I should do some Divi videos actually, but when you're working with a system like Divi instead of Elementor, like that is much better because it's so much easier, and anyone can come in and edit their websites at any time. And I tell you something, I've not lost any business, at least I can't see that I've lost any business from using Divi with people instead of Elementor, a much easier web design tool, because the thing is, people will ask you anyway to do this. I'd rather have CSS that I didn't have to mess around with time and time again. You know, I'd rather just be able to write it out and it works, and I don't have to screw around with all sorts of other nonsense just to make it work. So when it comes down to it, I think Elementor is terrible, and it's the only reason that I can see anybody using this dreadful system is that it makes it look like a website's absolutely impossible to do work on, which means that any business owner who goes on the website and tries to edit it, I mean, even with Divi, people can't be bothered to edit their own websites. They'll just ask you to do it, but it's a lot quicker to do it in Divi, you know. It really is. It's such a good system. Anyway, oh my god. Everybody using Elementor, it drives me absolutely balmy. It's so terrible. I mean, the sheer levels of jankiness. You know, it's like, I like something that's fluid, something that works, something that's really effective. And Elementor is not this. You are literally slowing down the entire process of building a website. You know that Duda advert that they have, and Duda's dreadful as well, where it says it's like sawing a chicken with a handsaw. It's like, yes, that is exactly what Elementor is. It's like sawing a chicken with a handsaw. You know, it's like frickin' going fishing with a hand grenade. It's not the ideal tool for the job, you know. Anyway, oh my god, this was just a rant. I just hate Elementor with a frickin' passion. Every single time I say, please just let me transfer the site over to Divi. It'll look a little bit weird for a couple of hours one night, but I'll change everything over and I'll make it run smooth, and then you won't even need to call me up in the middle of the night and say, hey, can you just change a word for me? Because you'll be able to go into it and change a word, and when you've changed the word won't be the word that it was, it'll be the word you always wanted it to be. You know, it's like, these systems just drive me frickin' crazy, man, when you're doing it. These web builders. Oh my god! And don't get me started on Beaver Builder. Oh my god! Honestly, it's like I can see why people use Wix. I really can see why they use Wix, but Wix is dreadful. Wix is so dreadful. Honestly, if you want to know how dreadful Wix is, and you're one of these Wix fans that somehow found their way onto this video about Elementor, where I'm just ranting, and yet you've still stayed to the point where started to rant about Wix, then when it comes down to it, just take your website and resize your browser a little bit and see what happens to everything. My god, the jankiness, the sincere jankiness everywhere. This is the reason that web designers go crazy, man. It's the reason we go crazy. We get called in, and then there's the other thing with the Elementor sites. Oh yes. When the web designer who has been spurned, right? They've spurned the web designer and they go off into their lair. What do? Yeah, let's get rid of your API connections and everything. Let's just watch your site degrade into ruin and crumble. And it will crumble under Elementor. Oh my god, the crumble that I've had to deal with. Anyway, yeah, this is another thing, right? It's like, with Divi, at least I've got like a lifetime thing that I've got with every single person, so I can just make a new API key for a person and I just leave them with it. It's like if someone doesn't want me to work for them, I can just say, bye guys, it's been an absolute pleasure, and leave the freaking key, because I don't want people contacting me because they're going to be upset at the fact that I've cancelled the key out, right? They'll contact me later if they need anything, because they can trust me, because I'm not holding it away. It's like when I say goodbye to a customer, I said, by the way, I've left your API key intact. If you ever want to change over, just let me know so I can remove it from my system. I basically explain that, and then they're happy to use the platform and the system, and they'll, every time that they're working on it, they will be able to think, oh, well, that Alex guy, he showed me how to use this, and, maybe I need help with something. Like, do I want a really cool glowing CSS thing? I love, those old, like, GIFs websites that you used to have on GeoCities, where there were like GIFs and glowing text everywhere. I love text that glows and changes colour. I can do that in CSS on blooming Divi, but I can't do it on Elementor, not without a serious amount of screwing around with it. And that is the problem, man. It's like just such a dreadful system. Anyway, I needed to get this rant out of me. Oh my god, it feels good. And I can go back to being professional soon. Catch you in a bit.